Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dan Lags, and welcome back to another Danville revamp video. Guys, on the last episode, we hit the like goal of 400 likes, so I am back again to do another upgrade. Sorry about the delay. It's been about 2 weeks since the last one. I would have liked to have gotten it out a week later, but just kept on running into some delays on the revamp. But today's revamp is going to be this house right here. This is a glass house built in early 2013 here on Danville. I actually nicknamed this house the Architect's House. I have no idea why it got that nickname. I honestly don't remember, but that is what the sign says at the front. So this house is made of glass essentially. Gonna be honest with you guys, it doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities. Pretty much has no interior. There's really not much to this house, so we're gonna have to make some major changes to this thing on the upgrade. A couple of things that I'm going to try to keep consistent to the original. I do like the idea of this extension part of the house coming out from kind of like the main building with this ramped roof, I guess, that kind of curves upward. I like that, so I'm going to try to do something similar to that on the actual build. As far as the sandstone roof, I don't think I'm going to keep that at all. Maybe I can implement it somehow, but that'll likely just be completely scrapped. And then the overall shape of the build, I'm going to try to keep the same, so more of like that L shape, I guess, depending on what angle you're looking at. It's like an L shape from right there. I'm going to try to keep that consistent as well. But other than that, it's probably going to be pretty big changes. Another thing I'm going to try to keep consistent with this build is the usage of glass. Obviously, it's not going to be as extreme as this build where pretty much every wall is made of glass. I think that was kind of my goal for this build. When I first built it back in 2013, I guess I was obsessed with making houses out of glass back then, so that's why I built this thing. But I'll try to build as much glass as possible on the build, and we're going to make it like a modern style house, so we'll see kind of what happens with that. As far as the interior is concerned, again, there's really not much to go off in here. It's basically just one big room. It really doesn't have an interior at all. This is like a survival interior, essentially. It's really bad. This is an old school build. It's old school. It's going way back in the day. It doesn't even have a second floor. It has kind of like this balcony up here that I doesn't really see a point to that. So maybe I can create some sort of balcony design on the second floor of the interior for the revamp, and that would help out. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to be referencing that at all. And then in here we have like a bedroom, which obviously I'm going to add a bed, so we'll kind of reference that if we can. Maybe I'll put that on that side of the house on the interior to kind of line it up a little bit. And other than that, guys, it's going to be a pretty different. Like, I could definitely see it being different. There's really not much to go off of. This is going to be one of those builds that's pretty hard to work off of, but I'm going to do my best to try to create some parallels and basically just try to rebuild a solid looking modern house for the upgrades. So we're pretty much ready to get started with this thing. This is the glass house here in Danville, built in early 2013. We're about to recap it and revamp it for 2017. Let's fly back to the front and let's go ahead and revamp this thing. Let's do it right now. And with the power of magic, we've got ourselves a brand new build. So right off the bat, guys, here is the revamp. It's looking very different from the original, obviously. Just a couple of quick notes. I did take some inspiration from this rebuild over here, tried to make it kind of similar, just so if anything, if I wasn't going to be able to create a house that looked similar to the original, at least I could make it so it kind of matches the area, and it's almost like these two houses were built by the same architect, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like a back end metaphor to the, I guess, nickname of the original house, which was the Architect's House. It's too in depth, way too in depth right there, but just a couple of the similarities, obviously, before we kind of tackle the differences, because there are a lot of differences, obviously. But some of the similarities, again, I added like the curvature of the roof and created that L shape like we had in the original build. I actually did find a way to reference some sandstone on the roof. I just used some sandstone kind of as like the flat roof there and put some solar panels on top of that. So just so it was a small reference to the original. And then I just tried to use as much glass as I possibly could. Like, normally I wouldn't use this much glass on a modern build. Like, back here, there's a ton of glass looking into the kitchen. We have one huge glass wall right there, which covers a lot of space. And it's just way larger, obviously. I know I built it a lot bigger, but overall, I think the house turned out pretty good. I definitely ran into some complications with it. I started it, and I wasn't really liking it that much, but the more I worked on it, the more I started to like it a little bit more. So I used snow, I used dark oak wood, I used the logs as well as the slabs and the planks, and I even threw in some white concrete just for a little bit of contrast so it just wasn't all snow, as well as some stone and some other things built in as well. So let's go ahead and just do another fly around here real quick before we check out the interior. I added a little basketball hoop above the garage. So one thing that's a little bit different is that on the original build, this part that comes out of the main part of the build was actually the master bedroom, I guess you could say. On this one, I decided to turn it into the garage since the original build didn't have a garage, so it's made it a little bit more practical in that aspect. So let's do another little fly around. This extension over here was pretty much, you know, something I wanted to add. And it also allowed me to utilize a little bit more glass, which is, again, one of the goals that I was going for this video. It even has a couple of skylights as well that look into the kitchen for a little bit of extra natural light, which works out pretty nicely. And then here's the back of the build. Again, pretty simple. It's kind of like this main part of the build that kind of loops up and around and goes across as the roof. And then there's basically this big snow square here, which has a lot of rooms in the interior. Just to give the interior a little bit of depth. Sometimes it's tricky to add a lot of interior on modern houses when you're not giving it a lot of wall space and you're just kind of doing glass. That's obviously one of the challenges with that original build. It's all glass, so it's hard to, you know, create rooms with that. So that was something that I had to do for this. And yeah, one last look at it here in the front. Let's go ahead and check out the interior. So we have the front door right here, and you walk in, and this is kind of like the front foyer area. Staircase up to the second level made out of some carpets. I utilized a little bit of the glazed terracotta on the floors. This build has a very black, white, gray theme. You'll see that throughout. Kind of went the way I did that was kind of like utilizing these banners, kind of going from black to white. You know, obviously with the gray in the middle, kind of transitioning from one end of the spectrum to the other. So I kind of kept that theme throughout the video, throughout the house, I should say. So right through here, this leads into like the extra laundry room space, which also connects to the garage. Added a car in here, a couple of other little things. So definitely smart adding the garage for this build since the original did not have one, obviously, like I said previously. Over here, we have a couple of bedrooms. Kept it real simple and minimalistic. So here's bedroom number 1, slab bed with some carpet on top. Each one of these bedrooms does have a bathroom. So here is bathroom number 1. Again, pretty standard. And then same thing goes over here, a bed with a bathroom connecting. So just kind of was able to add some rooms, I guess, in the corner of this house, and that worked out pretty good. Over here, this is where the house opens up a lot more. So this is kind of like the family room, living room space. Big TV on the wall. We're in the default texture pack, so I can't use the painting, so I just used some black concrete. Coffee table in the middle, as well as a nice couch. And then there's just basically like a tall area here up against this glass door, which has a French door on it that comes out here to the backyard, I guess. Just like a small patio area, essentially, with a grill and like a little extra wall for a little bit of division from, I guess, another property. But yeah, this space was designed to be like really open, and I actually added this balcony. This was almost like a reference to that balcony on the interior of the original build. Obviously, you could fit a lot more up there, and we'll kind of cover that a little bit more in a second. But let's go ahead and cover the kitchen here. Again, pretty simple, very open space, lots of natural lighting, tons of glass. I actually really like this kitchen because it kind of like shows off a lot of the rest of Danville, which is cool. And I'm hoping that in the future we'll have a lot more of these houses in the surrounding area upgraded as well. So obviously the one right across the street is upgraded right there. Not a great view of that house, but still across the way over there we have one of the original upgrades of the Nether house. And then right across here, I plan on upgrading this house soon as well as that cyan house, or that might be light blue wool, I'm not sure, but plan on doing that house as well. So just kind of like an open space, nice view. I think this room turned out really cool. So nice kitchen, very modern, sleek looking. Used a lot of quartz and lighter colors, obviously. It is a modern house, so that makes sense. And then finally, we're going to cover the upstairs here. So we're going to do a little jump up the stairs here to the second level. And then you kind of walk around this corner. And the upstairs is basically designed for just one room. And the upstairs is also very open. There's really no division between the rooms. So we have a balcony here that overlooks the front yard. And this is actually right above the front door. And then we walk in here to this main room of the second level, which is the master bed, as well as the balcony that looks down below on the rest of the house. And then right there in the corner, I was able to sneak in a master bathroom. So that's about it for the interior of this revamp, guys. Turned out really good. Very happy with it. It was a little rough at the beginning. I just really didn't have a great vision for it, but it started to come together. It's really difficult when you're working on these houses that really just, they don't give you a lot of stuff to work off of. So I try to like create comparisons to the builds as best I can, while also pretty much just doing a completely new build. I mean, this one doesn't look anything like the old one, but there are some subtle references to the original, and that's basically my goal when it comes to these revamps when I'm working on a house that really just doesn't have a lot to go off of. So thank you guys for watching this Danville revamp video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys want me to do another one of these, let's go for another 400 likes for the goal. If we hit that goal, then I will do another recap. I have a couple more houses that I want to do, maybe one of them involving some water, so that could be pretty interesting. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Again, drop a like if you did enjoy the video, 400 likes, and I will do another one, and we will see if that happens. So thank you guys for watching. It's been Dan Lags. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.